This is a S&P 500 trading video. I'm going to show you how I use the market profile and the volume profile to set appropriate price level for me to monitor while trading the E-mini S&P 500 future. Okay, let's take a look at the market profile chart here. I mean the volume profile chart. The market is closed right now. So we'll just go to this chart here, and then I will roll back the video that I have recorded earlier throughout the day, certain area, certain point in the market session that I have point out various things from the market profile and the volume profile, and kind of point out to certain level that we should be keeping an eye on. All right, so you can see that the close is right near the Friday's value area low. Right? Remember, here, we see that this right here, these two line here represent the IB range. That's the first hour high and low. That's the range. Right? So you can see that the price came down, formed this IB range, and then broke through the IB high, and it came up here. And that was when I first recorded to point out the pull high that has formed. And I was basically looking for a pullback toward the IB high and also toward the development rewrap as it come up. And I say, we probably get some sort of confluence between the IB high and the rewrap and then get a bounce back up. Then we essentially playing for this bounce for the IB, for the pull high to get resolved, because we're basically looking for the pull high to get resolved. Now, it didn't come down. It did not come down to this level. Instead, it just kind of chop around here, forming this point of control here, and then it moved up, then got resolved. The pull high got resolved. Then it came up and actually put in a clean high. Then it sold off. Now, at that point, the this value area high is down here somewhere. Okay, this development value high. Then one could have taken a short here, because it's basically like a peak above and fail, or you could say look above and fail, but this is more of a peak. Right? So anyway, it is a look above and fail because it tried to move out of the value area high and unable to stay out and move away from it. So it came back into the range, the value area, then basically playing it back to the other side of the range. Then that would be on the other end, right? And then it was developing. So there is that value area low, which is somewhere down here right now. Okay, all right. But earlier it wasn't there. But anyway, we basically just playing for these level, come back down to take out the IB high and also the rewrap and see if we get a bounce back up. If it is, then it's most likely it will come up to this particular level here. But if it doesn't, which it did not, then we expect it to come down to this overnight high here, because it came up on this overnight high and it come back and back test it before it move up and made a high of the day. So now when it come back down, we expect it to sort of test for support, right? What was resistant become support, and what support become resistant, right? So basically we saw this kind of chop around here, right near this around this overnight high. Then it went to, once it went to, then we're basically looking for IB low, right? So we're basically looking for IB low to get tagged, not necessarily get breached, and go to it. But there's that 30% that it will go to the IB high and IB low in the same session. So basically that's what's happening today, right? It went to it and then came back in, right? Came back up, and once again it tests the overnight high and wasn't unable to get back above it. So we know this thing is pretty much coming down. Then once it get below the IB low, then it's pretty much this this overnight low is in play, right? So when it came down, you see that on the overnight low, it came down, right? And then it kind of chopped around a little bit, then into this value area from Friday, okay? So this value area high, point of control, value area low. Then you know that this range is in play. And essentially, it is just going to bounce around up here, check the value area high, come down and check the point of control. Basically you're looking for support. If any one of those break, then you go to the next level. right? So you essentially see that it came all the way down to the other end, which is the value area low. Then it kind of chop around and then come back in and close it just above it, at the end of the session. Okay, so that is what plays out. And from these level, one could see that this market is being controlled by the short term, what we call the STF, the short time framer, the short term trader, because a lot of these guys basically trade against these level, right? What we call the OTF, the other time framer, the longer term player, they don't trade these level. If they want to establish position, they will buy the position. They're not gonna wait until it tag this level and then go buy, or tag this level and then sell. Right? These are all short-term trader. So you could see that once you could identify who's in control of this market, then you sort of know what are some of the level to keep an eye on. Right? Once you identify that, then it's pretty much it's not sure in, but at least you have some idea what to look at, rather than try to draw trend lines and all these other stuff, right? These are actual generated by the market and tell you exactly what these level are, okay, based on the this auction process between buyer and sellers, right? Okay, so there is nothing there that is derived from certain things, or lagging indicators, or oscillator, or moving average, those sort of thing. Okay, so these are all market generated data that generate these level. So they are very objective, not subjective. Right? The only subjective part is maybe my data is not as accurate as someone other that getting all these, the real-time tick data and that kind of stuff. Okay, but it's, to me, I'm not a rocket scientist. It's close enough, right? Because I am just looking at the proximity of these level and then see how price react. So okay, so that's basically what I want to cover on this volume profile. And let's go and just run through the market profile a little bit. And here on the market profile, you can see a lot of these stuff pretty much got cleaned up. Remember all these poor high, poor low, single print, the point of control that haven't been tagged, they tag and got resolved. So today it essentially left these single print, and we basically are looking for these single print to get filled in the future, right? Tomorrow, maybe next few days, maybe, we don't know. But if the price come back into this area, then we have some reference point or target point for us to monitor, right? Okay, so I think the high and the low is pretty clean. Believe this is pretty clean. Let me see, and is that more than? Yeah, this got 3, so it's pretty clean there. Okay, so we basically just kind of monitor these single print for tomorrow, and also the potential, this point of control, and these level down here. We also have a lot of stuff that need to get resolved down here also, that was left in on June 30th. So those are some potential downside target, and I post this chart here once I clean it up later on to this evening on my Twitter stream. Okay, today is July 13, 2020. I'm looking at the mini S&P 500 future. We got a poor high going on here, and we are looking for this thing to pull back and fill these single print, then come back up and hit these pull high. We could be targeting the pull high up here, the June 8 pull high at 32.31 and a quarter here. So we'll keep an eye on that. And switching to look a little bit at the volume profile, we'll see that it came up to the development value area high. Right now it's bumping up against the developed point of control. So we'll see what it pull back to the IB high here. And that is also probably will be in confluence with the developing rewrap, or the today's rewrap. So we're looking for a pullback somewhere around 32.1050. Okay, there it goes. It broke the pull high here. And right now, it essentially filled the single print. I was looking for it to come down here to fill the single print. And I'll show you why later on the volume profile. So right now, we basically is probably targeting this 32.31.25 here, this pull high. So we'll see what it get up to that level. And here's the volume profile. So you can see that it kind of got a little bit of a excess here, but we'll see what it continue to move up. If it's going to hit that pull high as the depict on the market profile chart, then this should get up more. Let's see what are some of the level up here. So there is a level up at 32.48.75. Right, so I was looking for this to have a little bit of a liquidation break and come down to this IB high here. And also remember the rewrap, we were saying that going to move up and probably establish some kind of confluence with the IP high. So was looking for something come down here and then bounces back up. And these this low volume zone is essentially down near these those single print that wasn't filled on the market profile. So we just keep an eye on this and see how high it will go, because basically we're looking at right now is the 32.31. So basically looking at this right here, 32.31.25. Okay, just want to show that the market profile, the emini S&P 500 just formed a pull high once again. So we'll be watching for this to continue to get resolved and grind up and see before the end of the day tag this 32.31 1/4. Okay, we got the fill on this single printer and it came down inside the IB. And looking at the volume profile, you see, remember earlier we were talking about coming down to this IB and a rewrap. And right now it came down here and testing the overnight high here. So we just kind of keep an eye on it and see where it come down to this point of control here, prior point of control. All right, it came down to the IB low here on the volume profile. It took out the prior point of control here. So we'll see what we get a bounce back into this development value area low, or would it come down and tag this overnight low here. And if we switch over and take a look at the market profile here, you can see the market profile is coming down to the low of the day. And here's one of the point of control on the market profile, 31.97.75. On the volume profile is the 31.93. So it's a little different, but you know, that's why we keep an eye on both. All right, we just broke through and you know, was establishing a poor low, and then it just broke through. So right now we essentially are looking to see would it get down to this 31.79.75, and we switch over to the volume profile. You can see that the volume profile came down and got a bounce on the IB low, and came back up, tried to get back into the overnight high here, and just kind of rolled over again. So right now it seems like it's might be targeting the overnight low right now. So we basically want to keep an eye on this 31.81.75, right, before it take out the market profile poor low at 31.79.75. Okay, it came down to this 79.50 here on this right here. Came to the overnight low. So this is the Friday's value area high. And here, looking at the market profile, you see the market profile came down and tagged to 79.75. So there are some single print down here. So you can see a lot of these structural level get hit. It kind of give you some idea what type of trader is in control of the market, and basically is the short-term trader, what we call the STF. Right? Though they are very technically, when they trade on all these technical level, and these are structure, market structure generated level, and a lot of these short-term trader is basically trading off of these levels. So once you know who's in control, then you could kind of get some good idea on where are the levels to watch. Now, as you can see, it is entering this whole big mess here. So there are a lot of unfinished business down here that could get hit. And if we switch over to the volume profile, you see that it also took out the point of control down here at this 75.50. But right now, looking at the advanced decline, it's still a little bit positive, but it's definitely getting close to the zero level, because right now the New York Stock Exchange is only 212 more advancers than decliners, and the Nasdaq is already one negative. It is 318 more decliner than advancer. But the cum tick is still positive on the Nasdaq, slightly negative on the New York Stock Exchange. Up down volume ratio is all negative. The New York Stock Exchange is minus 1.23, and the Nasdaq is minus 1.19, and the Russell is 1.8, minus 1.8. So we are getting a little bit of a sell-off right now. So, and also remember, today is OpX Monday, right? So that's why you always have that trickery, and they run it up and they run it down. So watch at the close. They might run it back up, back into the IB range, and see where the rewrap is. They might just run it up into the rewrap. So, or otherwise, they're just going to take it down and just have a lot of these short, the put premium seller come chasing after to cover. All right, we are watching this level here, the value area low from Friday. It's going to try to tag that level, so we're going to keep an eye on that. See where they come down here, and then see where we get a bounce, or we just go right to. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.